pleased to be joined on the telephone line by Vice President of the Springfield Cardinals, Vice President of Business and Baseball Operations. That is our good friend Scott Smulczenski. And Smuls, I haven't seen you in a while, so I hope you're doing okay.
Doing all right. Very good. And you kind of threw a wrench into that. You said good. It's raining here. I was getting ready to say good sunny Friday morning here in Springfield since we have the Frisco Rough Riders in town tonight to start a 3-game series.
You know what? Wouldn't that be perfect? I could go for some baseball right about now. Oh, my
Yeah, no
goodness.
kidding. Like I said, that was our other real world, I guess, before we got sucked into this Star Wars black hole that we're in right now.
So my biggest question for you, this is really aggravating me because you have an iPhone and
I did.
you have turned off somehow your iMessage capability. And so when I send you a text, it goes green. And so I've been trying to figure out how many times have I asked you, did you get a new phone? Did you get a new phone? Finally, last night, you respond, no, I think I have something turned off. But I have found out again this morning that you have yet to figure out how to turn iMessage back on.
Yeah, I have one of the old SEs or something. So, like, we had some crazy stuff going on with our phones, like in our iCloud and all. And so at some point, like by turning that off, it seemed to make everything like settle down. And I kind of like the green better than blue anyway.
Okay, but it drives me crazy. I gave you the steps last night. I said you go to settings, you hit messages, and you hit iMessage slider on. And what did you respond back? Too many
Too
steps.
too complicated.
Complicated. Oh, only you, Smalls.
What
See
is it?
that this is what I
What does it
miss.
mean? What's the difference? What does that do?
Well, for one, it I don't know. I just like when you're blue. It feels like you're part of the team. I don't like I
Uh,
don't like when somebody's green. It's like, oh, you're one of those Android people. Like Frizz, he's
no?
an Android guy. It's always green. It's like I don't know. And also, it's kind of nice because I'll get messages during the show and it pops up on my computer when it comes over as an iMessage. When you're blue, it comes
Yeah.
across all your devices. So I know you have an Apple Watch, something that you
Yeah. Yeah,
initially
I love that.
hated, but does it come over if it's a message too? I thought it had to be an iMessage. So are you
Yeah,
getting
I
any
get
messages on that?
yeah, I get messages and phone calls and all kinds of
Hmm.
cool stuff.
Yeah, you will
Yeah.
actually take the call on your watch.
Yeah. Sometimes because usually my phone's sitting on my desk.
I know. So have you been going into the office at all, or what's the protocol there?
Well, and again, I'm an old school guy, so I have great respect for being safe and everything during this. But when this first came down and they uh, said that we need to slow down and kind of get things pulled back in a little bit, Dan assigned everybody what they were going to do. And he kind of said to me, he said, Smalls, he goes, you've been doing this a long time. He goes, I'm going to like defer to you and you do what you need to do, as far as, feeling comfortable with this whole thing. So, I think that it's important that, while other people, are at home and everything like that, that you need to do that as well. But like I always said too, I have a tendency to see a lot of shiny objects and squirrels around when I'm not in my office environment. So I feel like you need to go to work. So I've cut back, but yes, I've been going in on Mondays half a day, Thursdays half a day, and then a full day on Wednesdays.
And see, you've been practicing social distancing in your office for 30 years because if anyone's ever walked into Smolls' office, you really can't get very far. There are obstacles. It's like walking around bombs that are set in place because there's just not a whole lot of room to operate.
Those are time capsules of the past.
But I'm thinking maybe we should get some medical professionals in there to like swab some of those things because you probably have like COVID-17 in there, and maybe
Yeah,
they might be able to find some research,
might have been where it started. You're right about that. I hadn't thought about that at all.
like on an old bag of peanuts from 1895, a giveaway from old Ebbets Field that you've held on to.
That's pretty close. I think you had all the right numbers in there, just in the wrong order.
Oh man. Well, what are you hearing from a baseball standpoint? I know that it's not much, and really there is no answer here, but I feel compelled to ask.
No, and that's true. And again, there's all kinds of things. I mean, obviously, you and us who are involved in the profession, I mean, we read it every day. I mean, I read every little morsel I can get. Sometimes that's more detrimental than it is helpful because there's so much out there that, might have been talked about, someone just made up, but, it got out there and the way we have all the different streams today. So you don't really know what's going on. But and the Cardinals, I mean, I know they're working every day up there. Billy DeWitt has sent out a couple of different emails to the Cardinals staff up in St. Louis, and always includes us in that as well. So we know kind of what they're thinking when they get to it, but they've been guarded as to just releasing a bunch of information. They kind of do it as it's happening. I think baseball's missing a great opportunity right here. You kind of already alluded to it on there this morning, is that I mean, people are starved. If the baseball's on TV right now, we'd be the great saviors, just because people would have something to watch on TV. Not like stuff like you've been talking about here for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever it is. News from 25 years ago
I
from
know.
some basketball guy.
Some basketball guy. Were you not a Michael Jordan fan?
No, I mean that's all good when it's current stuff. I don't want to watch it 25 years later. That doesn't
No.
change the outcome. So we've been watching it. We started, like, I think it was episode 2. I put me to sleep twice before we got through it, but I think we've watched 5 or 6 of the episodes now.
And it's like when we first got into this, it was really March 11th or March 12th, and you're thinking, all right, a month is going to be ridiculous. And here we are in, like, I think it's week number 10 of trying to work around no sports. And I just think that if these leagues could get over their own, I don't know,
Hey, get out of their
selfishness.
own way. Like they. I
Yeah.
mean, the last thing people want to hear is people arguing about money right now, billionaires versus millionaires, and stuff like that. Like, get them on the field.
But
Let's just see it and see how it progresses and see where we can get to.
But it is complicated. Like, I give them that. I mean, it's complicated with the fact that the owners are going to be taking a pay hit with no fans in the stadium, and the players have already said that they've come to an agreement to take a prorated cut out of their salary. But it's like, come on, the both of you guys have got to be able to get to the point where you understand you're making a boatload of money. And the overall concern, if the players start using safety as a concern, I think that's a bunch of BS. I just don't think that is a legitimate reason as to why they are concerned about coming back for health reasons. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that though. I mean, I get it. I mean, this is like watching this whole thing unfold. This has been the biggest thing. I mean, again, I go back to, I mean, me, I can always talk forever, but I mean, I go back to when this thing started. It's just like, I don't think in February anybody could sit here and tell you then and explain what's going on right now, 3 months later.
I agree.
I don't think anybody knew that, so it's just one of those things then, as it came along, you're thinking like, we'll be back on the field, like you said, in a month, everything will work out, we'll get it together. But as time goes on, you learn more things, and all this social distancing and what the CDC and WHO and, government officials are all saying stuff that we've lost the power to even determine what's going to happen. And I've never in my life seen so many people that don't know what's going on, like because there is no blueprint or playbook or answer to this right now. I mean, that's why I say, like, there's so much that comes out, but like, even I think sometimes the people that are making the plans don't know what the plans are because they're waiting on information from other areas to get to this. So I do get the fact that this is one of those things that's so crazy, this COVID-19 thing that, I mean, it's like the perfect thing. It's like, I feel good, you feel good, we could be together. One of us could have it, not know it, give it to the other one. It doesn't affect either one of us, but we go talk to somebody else and they get it. And I mean, this thing has long lasting effects in it too, with heart and lung issues and stuff like that don't necessarily come back from it. So I get the seriousness of it, but I also understand the math of it too, like even, in our area per se, like we've had 114 cases down here, like 85 of them have been known to be cured. I think we've had 8 deaths. So that means there's like 20 people running around with it. So I feel pretty good about that in my bubble down here and stuff like that. But then you hear 8 more cases come in this weekend. 6 of them are related to travel, people that went out and came back in. So I get it with these players who are moving all over the place and stuff like that and around unfamiliar areas and unfamiliar people. I mean, it's legitimate, but we got to figure out how to get through it, get around it.
And I agree, but I also would then say, well, are they that concerned when they drive themselves to the ballpark? Do they look at all the statistics when it comes to people dying in a car crash each day? I mean, like if we operated with the current death rate or death toll of what's happening in the United States, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how long are you going to walk around and live in a bubble? I just think at some point you got to understand that in life you take risks. A pitcher takes a
No,
risk every time he throws a ball. I mean, what's the chances the ball's going to come back and hit him square in the bean?
great. No, I get that. I mean, that's what it is. Life is one risk after another, one decision after another. And yes, we need to get back on the field. Like I said, this is the time. We got to figure out the solution to the problem right now. And like I said, it just seems like we're unable to kind of get on a track to gain any momentum and move forward. I think we're doing it slowly. And, I still cannot believe that we won't have baseball this year. And, like I said, and I think in my mind right now, I still want to believe that we're going to be playing ball by July 4th. I think that's the perfect, you even said that this morning, what a great thing that'd be, July 4th, America's birthday, and we got, boys of summer, America's pastime, all that, starting baseball again. So I'm still hoping that can be achieved.
And I think when you listen to rational people around the game that are probably informed about things that are developing outside of the Trevor Bauers of the world and some of the other hot takes that we hear from players, you do get a more level-headedness and sense that discussions are actually moving forward. And I think that's encouraging, too, to understand.
Yeah, and again, you guys put on there this morning, Matt had that the proposal came back from the players, and then they had their stuff. And it is funny, because what we kind of got off there on is that most of the stuff that they seem to reply back about was about, the COVID-19 stuff, and how it's going to be treated and what's going to happen if this and that. And yeah, I mean, you didn't even see the economic side in there, which is what, again, seemed to be what everybody was, saying was the problem. But then you had Ian Happ on with the Cubs yesterday on um, Golick and Wingo, and he was saying they haven't even seen an economic proposal yet, and he's the representative. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know what to believe from all that.
I don't either. And the players continuously say that the owners are leaking stuff through the media, and then the media is coming to the players asking them about it, and it's like, well, we haven't even seen an official proposal, so you're asking me something on a hypothetical that I've not, how am I supposed to be comfortable answering questions that we don't really know anything because we haven't seen much on paper? Scott Smulczenski is our guest here on Jock 98.7. When you think about at this point of the year, you'd be rolling. I mean, we're into the season and things are starting to become habit by now.
Well, like I said, I still kind of go back to that. This would have been our 22nd home game tonight. Frisco would have been in town for the start of a 3-game series. Corpus just left last night. This would have been altogether our 42nd game of the year. So
Wow.
we've missed a little bit.
I would say this would have been our 42nd game.
Yep. 22nd home game, and we've had 20 road games already.
Oh, my goodness. That is wild to think about.
Isn't it, when you put the math to it?
But it also, how many times have we sat in the office at this poll and said, man, you start looking at the All-Star game, and then you start looking at how many homestands you got left, and, the season just flies by. When you told me how many weekend dates you get at Hammons Field, what is it, 8?
It's 11.
11.
Like 10 or 11 different weekends that we usually get are involved in. We had a nice schedule this year, too. We had some great weekends.
Wow.
Because we had an 11-game homestand to start in April in the middle. So, 11 games is a lot, especially being season, but it's cold date in there, so you don't get so much. So get those all played. And then we've been on the road kind of a little bit. Now we were starting to get more games, really. We had a kind of a middle June, July, August loaded schedule this year for home.
Well, I know that the Springfield Cardinals have been so involved in the community with different initiatives to try to get people to donate blood and rally the Fly Together T-shirts. That was a great design, and the new Kids Club. And I know folks who are still, working over there that are making phone calls and checking in with their customers and just reminding them that when there is baseball to be played, the Springfield Cardinals are certainly going to ramp it back up when it's safe and possible to do so.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you are right on it. And obviously, you know some of our people, and you've been talking to them, maybe playing golf with them or something like that. But all of our salespeople are have their contacts points with all of our members, and they're always just checking in to see what's going on, always willing to talk with them. I know like Brad Beatty and Andrew Buckbinder, and Zach are always, talking to our sponsors, and we have put together some things with the thing you talked about, the blood drive with Great Southern, with Community Blood Bank. They were with us, and we're also doing the Fly Together T-shirts that you've been talking about, trying to feed some of the frontline people. So, yeah, I mean, we've been keeping people busy. And again, I'll say right here, people ask me sometimes, you've been with the team, 40 years, and, how in the world do you stay with the Cardinals that long? Does that loyalty mean anything? And I guess at times like this, I have to say about the Cardinals, they have continued to keep all of us employed on the payroll, paying us. And even though we're not at the office, they're paying us, and our people are going out and doing their thing in the community, and with our fans, customers, members, all that. And that makes me proud always to be a St. Louis Cardinal.
Yeah, man. I'm with you there. Rock on. Hey, you have been terrific to come over and do our post-game show at Falstaff's, live at Falstaff's on a couple of occasions, once with Philip Wellman, which did we do that one outside, or?
Yeah, on the patio.
We
It was
did it
awesome.
on the patio. And then last year, was it with you did it with Joe Krusel.
Yeah.
Did it with Joe Krusel. That was one of the first, because it took us a while to get going because of the Blues Stanley Cup run.
Yeah.
And then one year you did it with, because we lined it up to have John Vooch on.
John Vooch, man, my boy.
So you're a 3-time live at Falstaff's guest.
Absolutely.
Man, aren't you going to miss that show in that place?
Yeah, again, great nostalgia, like the hockey bar, the map of the St. Louis school system up in there too. So it's kind of, yeah, that's going to be a bummer not to be able to do that.
Who
down
was
the road.
Who was your favorite wingman of those three? Would you go with Welly? Would you go with Krusel? Or would you go with oh my gosh, who's the third?
Vucci.
Oh, Vucci. Oh yeah, how could I forget Vucci?
That's right. I mean, ultimately, like we've been together for pretty much our whole careers, so none of those guys are shabby. I always enjoy Welly. And again, you see Krusel wearing that number 13 here in Springfield. You see what that's caused now?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look, you're to blame. The 13, you are to blame for this because you did not put a hold to this. You could have stopped all of this. All of these orders, don't they come across your decimals? You could have nipped it in the bud. You could have said, Krusel, we'll give you a 1.5 of a 3, but they came up short on the other end of the 3, so you would have been an odd number there.
See that? I know, but you got to give the skipper what he wants, man. You got him, keep him happy, make him comfortable. So he got his wish.
You're a man of the people, and you know what? You really are, because when game's about to start, man, you're walking around and you're always out there. You're to be seen and checking in with the umpires, and I know you missed that aspect of your position.
You do, even after 40 years. I mean, and this is the kind of thing that makes you kind of go back and recheck yourself and just say, like, man, maybe you thought maybe you were getting tired of it, or was getting old hat, or maybe you were, not putting as much effort into it. But man, now it's almost like a rebirth. So I just can't wait to get back to this kind of stuff. But yeah, and I believe me, when it comes to being out there, I don't hold a candle to Dan Ryder, man. That guy is he has endless energy, and I know this is driving him crazy here too, that he can't get out and talk, because he'll go talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere, for the good of the community and the Cardinals.
This is true. You have any Memorial Day plans? I know, like most down here, you bleed red, white, and blue.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what do you do now? I think we're still talking about it. We sat on the phone with my daughter last night up in St. Louis, for about an hour, talking about what we could do. And, you're not supposed to travel or anything like that, and don't want to do that. And I don't think I've been in Springfield consecutively, like since I think March 7th was the last time we were out of town, so I'm not used to being in town this long, all at once. So I don't know. I really don't. I know the one thing I'm going to do over the weekend is turn 59 years old. So.
Whoa! What day is that? I didn't know it was your birthday.
Hey, it is the holiday.
So you actually turn on 25th, May 25th?
Yep, 5/25, 59.
Wow, you share a birthday with my great friend Charlie Martin, who's another Warson Woody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie, I hear you talk about him all the time.
Yeah, we
I'm
saw.
25.
I always had to play 25 on the roulette wheel with Charlie because if 25 hit, I knew he had it, and I didn't want to miss out on that red 25 now.
Red 25. That
Red,
sounds like a good one. If you're
uh,
playing, pull that on Monday and see what you get. I'll take 10% of the profit, none of the losses.
59. So you're probably not even going to enjoy this year because it's an odd number. Smoles has
I
his.
know, right? Going on 58 to 59. But then I got to look forward to like turning it over again, starting with the sixes.
Uh-huh.
And I do always feel like it's better when your second number is lower than your first number. I feel like you're young then. But when you get to but once you get past the first number, then you're old.
Yes, you shoot for the lower second on the second half. I like
So
that.
yeah, that's right. 2 years I'll have a 6 and a 0, so I'm in good shape for a while.
Well, tell Kelly and Hannah hello. We miss seeing them at the ballpark too, and you're a staple with the Springfield Cardinals. You've been there every year that they've been around here in this market, and it's a void right now for many of our summers.
Yeah, again, just like you say there's 5 of us from the original crew that are still there. Dan and Angela and Brock and myself and Aaron.
Wow.
Those 5.
Pretty remarkable. Smoles, happy 59th birthday. I'll cheers you from afar, but before you know it, we'll be clinking before you know it. We'll be rocking our red.
I'll go out and salute a flag somewhere though for sure.
USA, USA. Smoles, God love you, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Anytime. That is Scott Smulczenski, Vice President of Business and Baseball Operations. We will take a timeout, come back, and close out hour number 1 next here on the Jock.